So we are going to make a simple digital clock with JavaScript, and to the left is the finished results. A basic digital clock. It has the hours, minutes, seconds, and the meridian right here. So I'll show you what to include in your HTML, your CSS, and explain how the clock works while I'm making it with JavaScript. So over at the HTML, you just pretty much need the basics, your doc type, your HTML, your head with your title and your style sheet link. If you want to style it, you don't have to. And down here, you got to add your jQuery. I use a CDN, but you could download it if you want. And also my script.js file, which links me to my JavaScript with the whole program. And then the last thing you're going to need is this clock div. A div called clock. You can name it whatever you want, but it's going to be easier for you to just name it clock. So, for your styles, you can do whatever you want. I just imported a font called what's it called? Cabin, and I just gave it a background color of a greenish grayish color, and the color of the font is Alice blue. I might as well have just done white, but whatever. So let's get back to the script.js, and we're going to delete all this and start from scratch. So the first thing you want to do is what I like to do for stuff like this is I like to create a document ready function just to ensure that the program runs right after the page loads. So we're going to start off with, also I have jQuery on here. Well, I have jQuery. Hey, you already know. Okay, so we're going to start off with $, which indicates jQuery. We're going to make a documents.ready function. And parentheses and brackets, mustache brackets, I don't know what they're called. Okay, actually let me just do one space. Alright, so after that we're going to make a function called display time. And colon. Let's space this out a little bit. I like to space out all the functions. I'm not going to make too many. It's just probably going to be, it's going to be 2. So let's space that out a little bit by like 3. And we're going to start off with 5 variables. So variable var 4 5. Actually, let me put a 6th one down here. I'm going to get to that 6th one later. The first one will be called current time. The second one will be called hours. Third one, minutes. Fourth one, seconds. And the last one is going to be a meridian. If you don't know what a meridian is, it's this thing right here, this PM. It changes over to AM when it gets to 12 o'clock. So, there we go. We're going to add the equal. Okay, so first one, for current time, we are going to add new dates. And what this is it's pretty much a built-in JavaScript object, and I'll get more in depth into it after I type down the hours, minutes, and seconds. Well, the contents of it. So current time dots gets hours. So what this does is it goes into the current time variable, goes into the new date, and gets the hours from the new date object. And you pretty much do the same with all the others, well, except for meridian. Gets minutes and gets seconds. And then for the meridian, the default meridian is going to be AM, and then I'm going to make an if statement that changes it to PM when it hits 12 o'clock. Or was it 1 o'clock? No, it's 12 o'clock. Let's put it like this. You have a box with the variable of current time, and you yourself is the variable of hours. You go into the box called current time with the intention to get the hours, and let's say something comes out that's going to be called the new date object, and it's going to give you the get hours, the current amount of hours. That's probably the best way I could put it. Okay, so this variable right here is going to be called clock div. And this will get the clock, or the div that's right here called clock. So we're going to type down, what was it again? Documents dot ready. No, not ready. No. That gets elements by ID. And it's going to be called clock. So there's that. So we're going to make 4 if statements. I'm just going to pre-make them so I don't have to mess up my typing even more. Just copy, paste, paste, paste. Okay, so the first two are pretty similar. So let me type it down first. So if seconds is less than 10, then go into the seconds variable, and change it, well, not change it, but add a 0 plus the current second. So what this does is you don't want your clock, you don't want the minutes and seconds to be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to want it to go 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, and so on and so forth. Just to make it look like a digital clock and all the other clocks on the internet. And we're going to do the same thing with minutes. So if minutes less than 10, then minutes equals 0 plus minutes. I don't think I need the semicolons for the if statements. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so first I'm gonna separate. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this in a group because they're pretty much similar, and these last two are gonna be pretty different. So the next one, this has to do with military time. So the time right here, well, actually, let me just save this right here. Whoops. I thought I was going to show the military time version, but I have to actually, let me just go back to what I'm saying. This is pretty much for the military time. This is to change it from military to what we know more common, the 12-hour version. So, how should I put this? The default time for JavaScript when you're making one of these is going to be military time. So it's going to go past 12 o'clock or all the way over to 24 hours and then reset and then keep going like that. We are going to want the standard time, which we use every single day, which goes up to 12 and reset. So we're going to make an if statement saying if hours is greater than 12, then we're going to want to go into hours, and then we're going to subtract it by 12. So hours minus 12. So you may be thinking this is like something else, saying like if it goes to 12:01, it'll reset, but it won't do that. Pretty much, say the hours. If the hours is greater than 12, so if it goes to 1 o'clock, not 12:01, that's what I thought initially when I tried to learn this myself. So if the hours go to 1, if it passes 12, then it's gonna reset. It's gonna subtract it by 12, and then it's just gonna show 1 o'clock instead of going up to 13 o'clock. And we're also gonna change the meridian. So meridian equals PM. The last one is pretty much because we don't want 12 o'clock a.m. and p.m. to be 0 o'clock a.m. and p.m. So we're going to make an if statement saying if hours is strictly equal to 0, then we are going to make hours 12. So hours equal 12. Okay, so that's it for the if statements. Let me space this out a little bit. All right, so next we are going to add the clock div to the page. So clock div dot text content. So it's pretty much going to target the clock div that's in the HTML, and then text content is going to add text into the div. So that's going to equal to hours. We're going to type down hours plus a semicolon. No, not a semicolon, a colon, plus the minutes, plus another colon, plus seconds, plus a space to space out the meridian and the time, and yeah, add meridian. And that's it for the function. We still have to add a little bit more, but I want to show you what happens when I call the display time. So if we call the display time, it'll show the time, but it will not move at all because we haven't set an interval yet to change every second or every 5 seconds or whatever. But for a clock, it's going to be every second. So we are going to set the interval, set to interval. We're going to put in display time, and we're going to add how long do we want it to stand still until we change it up. So let's say 1 second, 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. So we save it, and it's going to keep changing every second. We can change it every 2 seconds. So there's that. You can change it every 5 seconds. So on and so forth, however long you want, but for a regular clock, you are going to want 1 second. So that's how you make a basic clock with JavaScript. And yeah.